Dude, you know the best part of playing a home and home against the Islanders? What's that? It's 2 games against them in 3 days, and then you don't have to play those 2 games ever again. Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do. I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR.
Victory, Puppy Ziggy! 1 for the Leafs.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You'll catch the next one. Because 1 for... Well, this was supposed to be Canada, but you can... Do you know that Canada lost? He didn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't even care! Well, one team wearing a Leaf won tonight. Leafs win! 2-1 over the New York Islanders. 2 points. 4 points out of 4, and you take those points and run. Man, oh man. Okay, let me tell you something I haven't been buying into all year. I have intentionally not been buying into it all year. People have been talking about the Craig Berube Leafs, and there's a lot of narratives about them. They block a lot more shots, they're hitting more, they're kind of tougher, right? More defensively responsible. But one thing people have been saying that I'm like, nope, we're not allowed to talk about that, is, you know what, they're kind of boring. They're I think a little bit more boring than last year. My argument to that was always, no, they need to be more boring. I've actually been far too excited about the Toronto Maple Leafs over recent years. It's kind of my thing. I could have done with a far more boring Game 7 and entire series and season and a lot of things. Like, dude, producer Drew and I were talking about this. We were kind of talking about December, like, I don't know, it didn't feel like anything really happened. No, but that can't be true. That there's always stories. Last December, the Leafs lost 6-5 to Columbus. Twice! They smacked Dubas's Penguins 7-0. That one was good. And they lost 9-3 to the Sabres in Buffalo. That was bad. Craig Berube's Leafs are downright normal. And I don't know if we know how to handle it. By the way, normal, not mid. Do you see the difference? Because mid is mid. It is middle of the pack, right? Bang average. Normal is like you don't lose to an E-bug, you know? Normal is you don't get pumped for 9 in Buffalo and then send your goalie down for a month and he does not play a game and then he comes back and he's fine until the playoffs when he's not. I would call going down 5-0 to Columbus and then erasing that deficit and losing in overtime anyway abnormal. These guys went to Long Island. They won a 2-1 game. Normal. So let's talk about this very normal game, and we might get into some Team Canada stuff at the end. Entire first half of regulation. No goals. Normal. Not really a wild amount of chances, though, were there? Sorokin was solid, and Wool was solid. They both made saves when they needed to, but it wasn't a lot of over-the-top stuff. Because these are 2 really good goalies. You can't just take normal shots against them. They're probably not going to go in. You're going to need a play that is abnormal. This play was ridiculous. Max Domi has the puck in the Islanders' zone. Normal. Isaiah George, who's a defenseman, says, hey, give me that puck. Normal. Max Domi blows him up like a shaken up can of beer. Abnormal. Huge reverse hit and George is down and George needs to leave the ice. Now here's the thing that gets lost in all this. That's not why the goal went in. You hear people talk about it. Domi laid a reverse hit on Isaiah George. George went down. The Leafs got the puck. They scored the puck, and that's how it went in. No, the Islanders had the puck after this. They had the puck with control. They had the puck deep in their zone. They had an outlet. They had every way of curing this situation. Casey Cizikas has the puck in his own zone. He's got Scott Mayfield with him. Now, Scott Mayfield is not looking at Casey Cizikas, who is the puck carrier. Now, in Casey's defense, I don't think he knew that. And this is Nick Robertson generating something. He is forcing Casey Cizikas into panicking because of the pressure that he's putting on. Cizikas tries to get rid of the puck along the boards with a bounce pass. The guy he's passing to does not know that he's the guy he's passing to. Robertson goes, all right, yoink. Feeds Bobby McMahon with so much space. Pew, 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 pew. Look at all this. Look at all this distance for lasers. Time and space for lasers. Space lasers. Space lasers. Bobby, pew, pew, pew. McMahon with his 11th of the season. This dude can flat out rip it. And that was an abnormal play, an abnormal shot. And now the score is 1-0. Now, how are the Islanders going to score? They need an abnormal play of their own, and they got it. William Nylander not paying enough attention to his blue line, which is unfortunately becoming somewhat normal. Dude, everyone knows how great of a season Nylander's having. He's on a bit of a goal-scoring slump right now. He is still, I think, tied for second in goals in the NHL. It's ridiculous. He might still win a Rocket. And if he doesn't, there's still a really good chance he cracks 50. And if he doesn't, there's still a really good chance he cracks a personal best. He's having a great offensive season. But he is all over the place on this shift while the Leafs are hemmed in. Ekman-Larsson does not have a stick. Mitch Marner says, please take my stick. Mitch Marner shoots right-handed. Ekman-Larsson does not. Nick Kiprios pointed out on the broadcast, Nylander blows the zone at some point during the whole charade. Listen, I want the Leafs to win every single game, but part of me was looking at the New York Islanders like, can one of you score? How bad did you guys become? You're in back-to-back Final Fours. How? There's only one guy in the Islanders with more goals than Bobby McMahon. That's how. It's true. Anders Lee has 16. McMahon has 12. He just tied Kyle Palmieri for what would be second on the team. Passing Brock Nelson, who's in a slump until he joins the Leafs, and Bo Horvat has 10 goals in 38 games, dude. Nobody on the Islanders has 20 assists. How could they possibly? Nobody scores! Anyway, they did score on this play. I should sprinkle that in there. Scott Mayfield finally takes advantage of the chaos. Wide open cage. He buries his second of the year, and the Islanders are tied 1-1. Now, the rest of the game did feature some fun. Joseph Woll made a huge toe save. That was a fun one. He also tried to, give the puck away, and I wish he didn't. Joseph, stop it! Max Domi took a penalty and then tried to sucker someone into taking a penalty, and they did not take the bait, and it just looked really funny. Oh, and by the way, I guess I should talk about that reverse hit. It's fine. He didn't elbow Isaiah George. Domi had the puck. Someone was trying to take the puck off him. To me, this reminds me a little bit of Rasmus Sandin on Blake Wheeler a few years ago. Remember that? The difference being that was a very young player rocking a veteran who wasn't ready for it. It was Domi protecting himself from an unprepared player. Anyway, we would not see another reverse hit for the rest of the game, not one worth noting. What else? Oh, very short 5-on-3 against the Leafs because they took a too many men penalty during a shorthanded situation where you're supposed to have fewer than usual men. They kill that off, and all Islanders fans know it's about to be a dumb one. And it was! Under 5 minutes to go in regulation, Adam Pelech just gets into the feet of Philippe Myers and takes him down. That's a trip. Is it the strongest trip you've ever seen? On the broadcast, they're like, oh, he's not going to like that call. Well, of course he's not going to like that call. Who has ever taken a penalty and been like, yes! Coach, you see that? You see, yeah! Getting promoted next game, right? That doesn't usually work like that, does it? The Islanders would have had a way unfair advantage in the offensive zone with less than 5 minutes to go in the third period in a one-goal game, and you can't have that. So, Leafs go to the power play. Here's the problem. Leafs power play has actually been not great against the Islanders penalty kill, which is, it says they're not, they're last. They're the worst. I'm sorry. How do they have any wins? They beat the Leafs recently. They don't score in their PK stinks. Anyway, second unit is out there, and a very subtle adjustment. Nylander is not the guy playing with both the first and second unit. It's Marner. I don't know what's going on with Nylander right now. I know an illness has been going through the team. OEL had it. Holmberg, I believe, still has it. He's not in the lineup. All I know is whatever Nylander lacked in this game, Marner had. He was firing on all cylinders. He had pop, and he was making it happen out there with the second unit. Now, he doesn't get an assist on this one, but he was a big part of this goal. OEL gets it too. Why not? Why not? The guy who'd be second on the Isles in goal scoring, Bobby McMahon. You know what's crazy? The guy who's second on the Leafs in goal scoring is John Tavares. Anyway, Bobby McAbsolute Man on the power play is second of the game. Leafs are up 2-1. Just shut this down. Under 30 seconds to go. Islanders think they've put it in the net. Controversy. They review it, and it's just kind of Joseph Woll had the puck, and they hit him, and you're not allowed to do that. I don't begrudge the refs for taking a look at that. It's a very close game. It's worth getting that call right. It's hilarious how short the review was. Also, shout out Patrick Watt for pulling the goalie when you usually pull the goalie. But it wasn't enough, and the Leafs win 2-1 in a normal one. Hooray. Questions. Undefeated in 2025. You're right, and you should say it. Not a question. Just love me some Bobbert McMatthews. He went undrafted. I don't get it. It's not even just he went undrafted. It's he went undrafted and then was a Leaf. And then they're like, he's a fourth liner, healthy scratch. He's a healthy scratch. And then he got a hat trick basically by accident like a year ago, like a calendar year ago. And now he's got more goals than an injured Austin Matthews. He's got more goals than Matthew Nyes, and Bobby McMahon has missed time this season too. He's one goal back of Marner. Marner, who's having an insane season. That third line is still just so fun, but they have the good kind of fun as well. Speaking of which, from Phoebe, Domi, respectfully, shoot the puck! Yeah, there was a power play where Mitch Marner gave Domi a wide open net, and Domi didn't know that because he wasn't looking. Because that's not how he's wired, man. Listen, I can't tell you how good or bad he is for your hockey team, but I can tell you getting to watch Max Domi every game is so funny. Look at him! Look at him! This is Bobby McMahon's belt pick, and Domi is in the middle. Max, you're not dude, but look at him. Look at how don't you love him? I love this guy. Harry correctly pointing out that Joseph Wool had a save percentage tonight of 0.96969. Nice! And you know what? We should probably talk about this. Not Leafs, but if you cover Canada's loss, can you explain basically what went wrong for someone who doesn't know anything about the nightmare that is Hockey Canada? Okay. Every year, there are players who could make Team Canada that don't. Pretty sure Connor Bedard is eligible, which is crazy, but he's not going to play on Team Canada. He is a second-year player with the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't think that was ever on the table. Then there's Macklin Celebrini. Well, Celebrini's probably not going to play for Team Canada. That dude is probably the front runner for the Calder Trophy. Then guys are hurt. TJ Ginla, Caden Lindstrom. Okay. Canada should still be able to ice a better team than most countries in the world. One thing I worry about this year with Team Canada, that they took 40,000 penalties, and people are going to focus on that. They're going to focus on Dave Cameron. Don't worry, I'll get to Dave Cameron. There's terrible, terrible coaching in this. Like, I think the worst coaching I've seen at a World Juniors from definitely a Canadian team. I'm trying to think of a worse coached. Oh, the Russians have had some really bad ones. That's as bad as I've ever seen Canada with a coach. They couldn't score. They couldn't score. They should be pumping these teams. Latvia, they got shot after shot after shot after shot. And yeah, it's an inspiring performance. Dude, you can't finish. Some of the most offensively gifted junior hockey players in Canada weren't on this team. Some of them weren't even invited to camp. Beckett Seneca, lighting it up for the Oshawa Generals, just went third overall to the Anaheim Ducks, was not invited to camp. He got like a pity invite to camp, did well during that pity invite, and then didn't make the team. What was the point of any of that? Michael Misa. Oh, he sounds like a good player. Who was he drafted by? No one yet. He's only 17. He hasn't been drafted yet. That hasn't stopped him from getting 30 goals in 32 games. You need a finisher. Right there! And a right-handed defenseman, his teammate Zayden Parekh, 9th overall pick to the Calgary Flames. Those two are 1 and 2 in scoring. Did Hockey Canada not scout a single Saginaw Spirit game? There's Carter Yakimchuk, another very high draft pick of the Ottawa Senators, had an unreal preseason. If I'm not mistaken, he had an overtime winner against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Taking one of Yakimchuk or Parekh would have been great for Team Canada. Taking neither of them is crazy. And there's more. I'm not going to spend all my time on that. Canada did not pick their best team at all. Some of it is politics too, like kids playing in the States when they could have been playing in Canada. It's so bad. It's equivalent to Team USA not taking Austin Matthews a few years ago because, he plays in Switzerland. What? All right, what's his passport say though? And Dave Cameron, the head coach. Dude, the team basically didn't practice throughout the course of the tournament. Seems bad. They took 1 million penalties, and when asked about it, he was basically like, well, what do you want me to do? There was a damning screenshot in the Canada-US game where Team USA's bench is dialed on what the coach is saying, and Team Canada is just floating around. Line combinations and Gavin McKenna serving a 5-minute major. Listen, I guess to put it gently, every decision the team made was the wrong one. It was a bad one. Were individual players bad? Yeah. Easton Cowan wasn't great. He's been getting a lot of it. He was battling an injury shortly before the tournament started, and I just, every year there's a player who gets hurt at some really unfortunate time in November, and you go, are you pushing to make the World Juniors? Oh, I hope not. Regardless, you have to be more disciplined than he was, than the whole team was. A lot of people are blaming the refs. It's the IIHF. It's the tournament is called like this every year. I think this year Canada took way more penalties because they had no idea what they were doing. They took 7 penalties a game and scored fewer than 2.5 goals, 4 per game. You're never gonna win anything like that. That's why Canada lost. So, the Leafs game, the Canada game, let me know what you think in the comment box down below. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Next time I'm going to see you is not going to be an LFR. Next time I see you is going to be during my live stream on the SDPN YouTube channel Saturday night as the Leafs take on the Boston Bruins. Ooh.